Hi, friends.
It's Mike and Nate, and we are live.
We're still here, live.
Hey, I think what we ought to do to kick this thing off, I saw this wonderful episode from the teacher of the world of music these days, Mr. Rick Beato,
Yes.
on this particular Beatles song. And I didn't think about it, but this particular Beatles song, it's kind of a stout tune, so let's just launch right into it and see if we can do it. Here we go. You ready?
Sure. I told you we were ending it either, did I? You're supposed to read my mind, man.
You know what? That's actually kind of a complicated chord progression. So when I watched that video, so it starts in F minor. And I'm talking about Rick Beato. He did a great teaching on this. What's that? Oh, I got to talk in the microphone?
Make the people hear you.
Yeah, I got you. So it starts in F minor, and as it descends with that line cliche, and you get to the end of that C, then it launches, you're in F major. There's Max Walling. He says, "Bravo." We kind of got it. We'd landed the airplane. It was a little bit of turbulence.
We're okay. It's fine.
Yeah, you might have spilt your, By the way, quick tip when you get on a plane. I learned this when we went to the NAMM show.
Always
I saw somebody do
order
this.
ginger ale. Oh,
Always order ginger ale, but also you can get 2 drinks.
Really?
Yeah, but you got to pick like 2 random drinks. So I saw this guy and he was like, "I'll take a ginger ale and a tomato juice." And when he said tomato juice, like the way he said it, like the stewardess, I could tell like he may have a condition, you know what I mean? So we got to get this tomato juice to him.
You're not gonna mix those,
and a tomato juice.
Yeah.
And so as soon as you do that, I was like, yeah, I need the tomato juice too, and probably another thing of cookies, You just got to say it like it's got to happen. Anyway, that's a tip from your Uncle Nate.
Just stuff I need: tomato juice and ginger ale.
So then it goes to F.
Terrible.
And then after F, you've got the Michelle, and then this note.
One of the Nate chords.
Well, it's a B flat dominant 7 with the sharp 9 or the minor third there on the top. Anyway, you got to watch that episode of Rick Beato dissecting Michelle. It is so good, and everything Rick Beato does.
Yeah,
is great.
anything he dissects is pretty impressive.
He's a hero.
Cool. He's pretty good.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we just literally slapped that together, and kudos to you, my
Thank
man,
you,
because
buddy.
putting
Well,
that slide together.
That's.
I wish I was better at slide.
I wish I was too. I'm faking it, man. It's fun. It's fun.
You sound great. Speaking of fun
Oh,
and
thank
sounding great, we kind of got a surprise for you very last minute. We had a flight plan for today.
We did.
Yeah. Speaking of, there's going to be a lot of airplane metaphors today, Yeah. Buckle up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're winging it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there we go. You're welcome.
Last minute, we had this really cool opportunity, and I think we might wait for a few more folks here to jump in, but I want to introduce somebody. We got a special guest.
We have a friend to join us today.
Yeah, so it's like, well, why
Yes.
not? Why wouldn't you do something like that? So,
Why not?
what do you think? Should we jump into guest or play one more? What do you think? I'm going to ask the guest. How you doing? Play one more?
All right.
Hey, you know what we might do? Let's do like a little funky blues or something. And then maybe I could literally like hand the guitar over to the special guest. We'll see. We'll see. All right. What do you like? A little funky blues in G? Let's see. Max. Oh, I got my trim on. I'm going to leave it on. See, when you end on that 6/9 chord, whatever you did before is like, that could have been jazz. Maybe they didn't even know.
Maybe it was.
Yeah.
Was that a mistake, or I meant to land on that one? I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Well, we got a few guests. First of all, got to give a shout out to Jason Adams from our Palin Music in O'Fallon, Missouri.
Man, he's
Jason loves to sing the national anthem. Why don't we get him on this
Get on
live
up
stream?
here.
Just kidding.
He likes to do it in a high F, right? Yes.
You're not doing anything. I'm just messing with you. But you can say hi to the folks out there. Yeah,
Jason Adams,
Yeah, there's
everybody.
the folks right there.
Yeah.
He's like, hey. That's Jason's a very special guest. But our special guest today, this is really cool. Is it okay to say, because you started taking lessons here at Palin Music Center, right? Yeah, and you were taking lessons for a long time with Mr. Jason Kopsian, who is an incredible guitar player, guitar teacher, and somebody that I go to a lot. Jason and I have been having this ongoing conversation about diminished seven, and about how, like, if you take one note of this classic diminished seven, I'm not going to jump into the weeds of this, but I'll just let you know that if you take each one of these notes and lower it down to one half step below, so like this G diminished seven, lower this note, you get an A flat dominant seven. And if you keep that same formula going, you get like an F sharp dominant seven, you get a C dominant seven, and an A dominant seven. And there's all this cool symmetrical stuff. And that's the kind of stuff you get with Jason. He's a genius in that stuff. And it's rubbed off on this guy.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Mr. Tyson Bryant. Come
All
on
right,
in.
all right.
Come on,
Hey,
come on.
hey,
come
look
on.
here, buddy.
Sit down right here.
Have a seat there, handsome.
Now, Tyson, here. Well, I'll have you play something in a second. Just sit there awkwardly for now. Okay.
So I may have to go help Jason from
Oh, gotcha.
Fallon for a second.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, if you need to jump off,
It'll be a
quick.
good division of duties here.
Gotcha. Perfect. So, how long have you been playing guitar?
Probably about 9 years.
Okay, so really not long.
Not too long.
Yeah, compared to Mike and I.
In the big scheme of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I only say that because where are you going to be, like, within a few days from now?
I will be at Austin Blues Festival.
Yeah, and who are you going to be playing with?
Taj Farrant.
Taj Farrant.
That's right.
Yeah, and if you've been watching a lot of Palin Music social media content, we've had our wonderful friend Taj on, 3 episodes of Chords and Coffee
so,
now?
yeah.
Incredible guitar player, has an incredible album out now called Chapter 1, right?
Yeah.
And doing really well. Do you have any stats on that?
I know Mama Raised a Man, one of the #1 singles, just hit probably now well over 1 million streams.
That's so cool.
It hit Billboard Top 100. I know it was getting close to #1, if not #1 for a little bit, and blues. So.
And so you guys are
yeah.
playing some pretty big crowds, right?
Oh yeah. Tampa was just about 5,000-10,000 people.
Yeah, that's
That was
awesome.
cool.
And so this is, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is like your first like you've been in bands, you know, like a lot of us were coming up, you know, like in, you know, high school and bands that you put together, but this is like your first proper professional musician gig.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to be in this local band in Springfield. We played around a little bit, but this is on another level.
Yeah.
So I think it would be kind of cool and maybe just kind of helpful and interesting to folks watching. I'd love to hear some of the lessons that you've learned, either the hard way or the easy way, just because somebody told you, or just ask you a few questions about that. Is that
Of
all right?
course, yeah.
And if you need to go help
Well, here,
Jason.
I'm saying if you got to answer
Yeah.
this question with the guitar, why don't you take this one?
Yeah.
And I'll be back in just a minute. You can
Yeah,
just sit over here, friend.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Is this okay, Jordan?
Middle button over there is the
Somebody
gas.
in the chat, give it up for Jordan in the chat. Jordan's back there running sound and working the camera. We got a lot going on here. Thank you, Jordan. We love you. Look at him smiling. All right. Hey, so 9 years now on the road on a tour bus.
Yeah.
Playing in front of big crowds. Let me just ask you some kind of dumb questions first.
course.
Had you now you using inner-ear monitors when you're out?
I'm not,
You
actually.
guys using wedges?
Yep.
God bless you.
That's just, that's how I've always preferred it. And ears kind of get all tangled up in me, and it's just a little bit distracting. So, yeah.
I'm just testifying over here because I love a wedge. It's what we have here. In ears, I'm not besmirching
Of course not.
in-ear monitors, but a wedge, just, you know, moving air just sounds great. You enjoyed a good old besmirching. You besmirched them. This guy back here is like, I hate ears. Yeah, it's having the moving air is nicer. So you're using wedges, and so that's not a problem. What's one of the things that was kind of a shock to the system that was a new?
Just a tour. It's definitely not all sunshine and rainbows. Just get up on stage and have fun. There is obstacles every single day when we're running just this completely independent business is what it is, and it's just like us five mostly. We have a couple other people on every now and then, but it's either the bus breaking down, flat tires, or just something going wrong that we'll have to stop. So it can get stressful at times, but the music makes it all worth it.
That's a really good point. When I was playing out a lot, I had this, and actually, even when I'm just, you know, playing at church, I just kind of have this theory that when something goes wrong, and it will, I almost feel like, okay, cool, we got it out of the way. Yeah. Everything else is like cream cheese after this. You know what I mean? Do you find that to be true?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So much of that is attitude.
Oh, yeah. Perspective is everything
Yeah.
to me. It has to be on tour, or else you'll kind of just spin out of stress, anything like that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of perspective, how did you get this gig? Because right now somebody's like looking, going, how did this guy slip into this? You know, and wondering, you know, how all these dots got connected.
Well, I actually got this gig originally because I met Taj from Chords and Coffee. He was doing a little bit of an interview, having a jam with Nate here, and my dad, who works down at the corporate offices, called me up and said, well, there's this Australian guitar prodigy coming to Palin. He's like 15 years old. And I was like, yeah, Taj Farron? I know. So he said he could just let me right in so I could meet him. So I turned around to wherever I was going, raced over there, and the rest is history. Yeah.
My memory of that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember, so we got done with the interview, and there was a bunch of cameras and, you know, production stuff, and,
Yeah.
you know, there was a few cables to wrap, I'll say that, like, and so you're just kind of doing that normal thing. And then you guys are talking, and just like, hey, my name's Tyson, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And did you ask him, like, hey, do you want to go, like, ride bikes and play some video games or just hang out or something like that?
Actually, so he had just recently moved to America, so he was definitely probably looking for some people just to hang with, and he actually asked for my contact information, and from there we just kind of got the ball rolling. I don't remember who asked first, but I know I ended up at his house at one point, and then just played some video games and hung out, and ever since, when he's back here, I've just been hanging out with him and just recently, a couple months ago, they asked if I wanted to join them on tour. So it was a big
Yeah.
surprise. Yeah.
Yeah. So my point in saying that is that a lot of times I feel like, and maybe this is a nugget for somebody watching. I keep looking at the wrong screen. I'm sorry. This is it. Boom. Sometimes we feel like when we're in a situation where there's an opportunity for perceived advancement,
Yeah.
like we want to like take quickly, like, hey, can you do this thing for me? But instead you were like, hey, you just want to do something fun? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it became like not about me as in you, but it became about we. You know, it's just like, hey, let's just go do something fun. And you guys were like, that's my boy.
Oh,
By the way, that's exactly how your dad
There
sounds.
he is.
That's my boy.
see him on the screen.
Yeah, there you yeah, I know, right? No, it's cool. So you guys are hanging out. Next thing you know, you're now on tour. So you're playing. What's your role in the group?
Rhythm guitar. At the moment, we're running 2 rhythm guitarists. It's been really fun having super experienced musicians just all having my back and just laying it down for me so I can get comfortable in there. Yeah.
That's nice. That makes it definitely nice when you got a great rhythm section. Yeah. So rhythm guitar. There's another little rabbit hole we can jump down. I'm a firm believer in if you're playing, you know, unless you're playing like jazz fusion or something, and we're like, hey, we're doing a Mahavishnu orchestra, except everything's in 21/16. Let's go. You know, unless you're doing something really, really complicated, lead is easier if you had to fake something because you
Oh,
can
yeah.
if you can solo and you've got some chops, you can kind of fake it. But man, when it comes to rhythm, you either know it or you don't.
Yeah, if you're getting up there and you don't know the song, you can't play at all.
Right. So how many
There's
songs
nothing to
did you
play.
have to learn, and how much time did you have to learn them?
I had about a month to learn 20 songs, I believe. Some of them Taj originals, some of them Taj's versions of other covers, but it was a little challenging, but hey.
What was that process like?
Well, I zoomed off from their house and listened to every song pretty much all night, and I did not put down my guitar for a while. Just learning those songs every single day. My girlfriend was pretty fed up with me constantly playing Taj's songs in the car, but it's just what I had to do.
So that's a good point because you had to like sacrifice a little bit of probably sanity, right?
A little bit.
And so did you, right? In order to be able to like actually cram for this test.
100%, yeah.
Okay, so when I say the hardest tunes, what are like the 2 or 3 that instantly come to mind that are like, "Doof."
At first, I'd say Cruise, Taj's original song. It was another one of his
Really? What-
number 1 singles.
I'm just curious, what about that song? Not that it's not hard. I'm just curious, was it the chord shapes?
Yes.
Show me.
It's this,
Oh yeah.
and he wants me to keep this shape
Yeah.
while I'm walking down.
Oh, that dirty dog.
That dirty dog.
So you gotta. So let's see what you got there. So you're playing that minor 9 chord. And by the way, you guys are tuned down a half step, right?
Yeah.
And that's like for everything, right?
Yeah, pretty much everything except for a couple anomalies.
So you're playing this guy.
I am.
So that's a D minor 9. You've got your index finger across the 5th fret of the A all the way to the high E, and then you've got your pinky on the 9th fret of the G, ring fingers on the 7th fret of the D, and then middle is on the 8th fret, no, the 6th fret of the B.
Yeah.
I always thought that chord was the most Middle Earth chord. And the hobbits woke, and they were away. Right. Anyway, but that's I think I said that on the last time we did the chords and coffee. Anyway, it's true. I believe it. So from there, then what do you have to do with your finger?
So it's real hard to let it ring out.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
So wait a second.
5, 4, 3 while you're holding that position, letting it ring out.
Oh gosh. And then you switch to G minor on the 3rd. So what he's doing there is he's got that D minor 9, and then index finger is lifting up and hitting the A on the 5th fret, the 4th fret. That's where the pain really starts to ensue.
Oh, yeah.
And then the 3rd fret, and then you're on G minor. Nice. Yeah, that's hard. Yeah.
Got used to it
Yep.
after a few shows, but that one was a little bit of a tough one. Hallelujah, I Love Her So is also
The Ray Charles.
little difficult just to play as a full band sometimes, just because it's ever changing. It never stops. Like. It's just the first part, and it really doesn't stop from there. A few parts change in what seems like random places, so that one took a while for me too.
And is that about the tempo that you're taking that in?
Yeah, if
So it's faster than the Ray Charles.
Oh, yeah,
Substantially. Yeah.
Taj always has to put his little spin on things to make it
He likes to go
harder
quick.
harder for everybody else, but
Well, I was gonna say too, because when you have a guitar player who's at the helm, like he probably gets down to specifics. Are there things where he's just like, just kind of do something here, or is
Yeah.
it pretty specific all the time?
stuff just like little 12 bars, like Texas Flood or The Sky Is Crying. He just kind of he lets us have a little bit of creative freedom, just to noodle around maybe here and there, but the structure of the whole song always has to stay
Yeah.
pretty tight. Yeah.
Yeah, and also on chapter 1, there's some stuff like in this house of Taj.
Oh, yeah.
Which that's like a riff thing that happens there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 That House Always Wins.
Yeah.
Is this
I think so. So that's really interesting. I've known you before, pre-Taj and post-Taj.
Yes.
And that's not your normal that's not your normal articulation on that.
Not
and
at
so
all.
did you have to learn to slur like that?
a little bit
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that part was that is actually kind of fun now, I'll say, but at first it was a little weird getting used to, because I used to be a punk rock guy and then getting thrown into blues and having like a month to prepare for it, and it's an interesting process, but it's probably been the most fun transition of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've said a lot that music and food, sort of these wonderful metaphors, but also language. And when you're learning to play something like learning how to go that little slur thing right there, that's like you have to make the conscious decision whether or not you're actually going to go for the dialect
Yeah.
and not just the right word.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, that's really cool. So let me ask you another question here. And by the way, if there's any questions out there too, I'm sure Tyson loves nothing more than to be put on the spot. So, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. It's my favorite thing.
Right. Well, here we are. So, gear-wise, what does that look like for you?
Right now I am actually running a Helix Line 6. It is all digital. We were just talking about
Oh
kind
man,
of like that. It's just
I'm kind of shocked by that.
Yeah, because we wanted something to kind of spice it up, and there's really nothing better to do if you kind of don't have the time. Just plug in a Helix, put on some crazy cool presets, and plug it right into the PA system, and then you're good.
So you're just using presets
Yeah.
out of the Helix?
Before, I was just running my little pedal board with a Wizard head and cab,
Uh-huh.
and that sounded amazing, but it was just a little too chunky. You could hear all my
Well, especially with 3 guitar players.
Yeah, you could hear all the raking in my setup. So we had to change from that because it just was kind of crowding it up a little bit. But yeah, it's been pretty cool using the Helix though.
Yeah, what a glowing endorsement of Line 6. We just plug
yeah.
it in. Just
Plug
let
it
her
in.
rip tater chip.
That's it.
That's very cool.
It really is true though.
So how many shows have you done now with him?
Oh, about 12-ish. Yeah, across mostly the East Coast and the Midwest.
Okay. Biggest city that you've played in thus far?
Biggest city, Miami, probably. Miami was
cool.
a fun one.
If you could tell yourself something to, like a little nugget of wisdom that you know now after more than a handful of shows and more shows coming, that's just something you've learned, even if it's just like, use the bathroom before you walk on stage, stuff like that. By the way, I've heard some horror stories from people that didn't. Use your imagination. Anyway, it's a family show. But if you could tell yourself any kind of wisdom that you've learned from this experience, what would you say?
It's all about perspective, is what I would tell my former self, anybody else out there. It's all perspective. Like, you're not there for yourself. You're there to heal people. And that's what I got told right before a show, one of my first shows with Taj, and it really got me out of my own head into like, oh no, I'm gonna mess up, but more of just like, they don't care if you mess up. You know, they're just there to listen to some good music, watch Taj shred, and just forget about life for a night. So it's just perspective, getting out of your head and relaxing and playing the music.
Has that helped you, like, not that you had stage fright before, but I mean, walking from going from playing a handful of shows, you know, maybe every other month to playing shows almost every night?
Yeah, definitely. My first show with Taj in Buda, Texas, I was literally shaking in my chair, just like, holy crap, I'm about to play with Taj Farrant in front of all these people. And I'm nowhere near as good as him. So it's like, what are they going to think of me? But at some point, you just got to throw that to the side and just play.
You said that you're there to heal people.
Yeah.
Unpack that just a little bit.
Well, people get so caught up in their everyday lives that they're going to these concerts just to forget about it. Like, seeing Taj already blows their mind. And just seeing him with a group of guys that really mesh with him, I believe it is healing to people to see this new generation of music come up. It's very refreshing to see people just come up and say thank you for carrying on the blues and doing what you're doing. Like, every time I see you play, it kind of fills up my heart a little bit, you know. And I've heard that time and time again, said directly to Taj, to me, everybody else. So it's refreshing to me.
Yeah, I will say, and I want to know if you know when the next time you guys are going to be in the area. But if you Google Taj Farrant, you'll find his website, and there's a tour date coming to a town near you or to a country near you, because you guys are international at this point.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. We just played Belize and Mexico on a cruise, so that was pretty cool.
It's been a long time since I've been in an environment where, like, literally everybody in the audience was just at a blues rock and roll show, basically. I mean, because it's not just, straight ahead blues. I mean, there's some just pure unadulterated shredding that's happening too, along with some very soulful playing. Everybody in that audience was so cool. My wife and I were there, and we it was kind of standing room only, and there was a guy there. He's like, "Hey man, my so and so couldn't make it. Why don't you take the total stranger? Why don't you just go ahead and take this chair?" You know what I mean? And gave it to my wife, and he's like, "Well, let me see if I can find him a chair." And total stranger, and like the whole Taj camp, some of the best, most friendliest, kindest folks you'll ever meet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, they've taken me in like I'm their own family. They feed me every day. I mean, it's just a blessing to have such a strong foundation of people around me who will support me no matter what.
That's awesome. Well, you're a blessing. Well, thanks for being a part of this. Absolutely. Y'all give it up for Tyson Bryant. Give it up. Let's get Mike back in here real quick.
Drop my pick.
Thanks for keeping my seat warm. I appreciate you.
Tyson, here's your complimentary Altoids.
There you go. Your Taj, there you go. Yeah.
You stick around because you never know. I mean, there might be a question or two for you, but no, that was great. What'd you think of that, Mike?
It was incredible, but I was also in the warehouse.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
If we're being honest.
Yeah. Packing up some Duesenbergs.
Well, that's what we got to do. We got to share our
Yeah, you
doozies with the
gotta-
world and with Jason at Store 7. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, are you feeling brave?
No. What are you throwing at me now?
I was thinking about that.
Oh.
The reason I was thinking about that is when Tyson played that minor 9 chord, that chord right there. Yeah. So, "Jealous Guy" by John Lennon. He wrote it, but there's a really cool Donny Hathaway version. And you were saying,
Yeah, you shared that with me, and it sounded a lot like Faces. Rod Stewart and the Faces did a really awesome version of that song. Ian McLagan starting off on the keyboard, kind of like the Johnny Hathaway one, and it's just fantastic. So is John's version.
yeah, let's try it. Here we go. Ready? I hear the Donny Hathaway version in my head when I'm doing it. And especially, I don't know if you meant to do this, but there's a moment he goes, I will shiver inside. Does Rod Stewart kind of...
Yeah, I mean,
Which one came first?
I feel like because the Hathaways, I feel like Rod heard Donny Hathaway's and then did it that way because they're almost identical. It's faces.
Yeah.
You know, rocking that. And they'd love to cover a lot of that stuff too. They have a really cool version they did of Maybe I'm Amazed, you know, Paul's first post-Beatles single.
Yeah.
And they kill it on that one too. And Faces, if that's a band you guys haven't dug into, do yourself a favor. Look up Rod Stewart and Faces because, oh my goodness. Stonesy, I mean, obviously it's Stonesy because you have two future members of the Rolling Stones in the band at one time. But talk about a quintessential English band and how these guys were all just buddies and two bands break up, two other bands form.
So what were the two bands that broke up to form Faces?
So it kind of started, Rod Stewart and Ronnie Wood were in the Jeff Beck group with the infamous Jeff Beck. They leave, or Beck kind of goes do his own thing. They're available. They join up with Kenny Jones, Ian McLagan, and Ronnie Lane, who were in Small Faces with Steve Marriott. Steve Marriott leaves Small Faces, starts Humble Pie with Peter Frampton, and then Actual Faces, normal size faces as I call them, average faces, was born from all that. But how cool is that? They were just buddies, just intermingling and changing. Kind of reminds me of around here and some of my friends.
Yeah.
You add one person, you're a different band. Add three other people and take away those two, you're a different
100%.
band. And just how cool to have all those guys be your friends.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of friends, I got to give a couple of shout-out. Old Derek King.
Derek.
Hey, Derek. Thanks for watching, brother. And then we got Dustin Babitsky. Dustin says, I've been dreaming about that gold top. I freaking love it. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I freaking love it. Heritage. Man, these guys just know where it's at. I don't know what else to say other than it's a gold top with a 57 neck on it. It's kind of how I'm feeling like that.
Neck,
yeah, chunkier.
I like it.
This thing's awesome, Dustin, and we can thumb wrestle for it. Yeah, we'll see. You have big hands. I've seen your hands. I think I will probably lose.
You're going to lose. That's
and my wife will be fine with me not buying this guitar. So. There we go.
I'm sure you'll find another
It's all
one.
you, buddy. Oh, yeah, I probably will. I probably will.
How are we doing on time, Jordan? Should we keep going a little bit? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we can keep going. You want to do another little something? I put you on the spot with that one. Let's see. What is that comment right there? I can't see that one. Let's see.
Oh, Mr.
That is
Spillify.
Mr. Spillify. I wonder if
buddy.
that's is that Andy? Comment. Yes, it is. If that's Andy.
Played a Black Beauty Heritage.
Yeah. Read that comment, Mike.
Says Andy says that is a gorgeous gold top. You are correct. I played a Black Beauty Heritage and didn't fight it the same way as I usually do with a Les Paul.
Oh.
Ooh, ow, yeah.
Should we talk about it?
I mean, fighting's part of it sometimes, isn't it?
Well,
They build the fight into the guitar.
Yeah, hey, it is Andy.
Yeah.
Good to see you, brother.
Yeah,
Hey,
all right.
okay, so real quick on that topic, potential hot take incoming. Sometimes when companies, I'll just say, make guitars that are made in the fashion with the technologies and wait,
Robin
Ford
Jealous
did-
Guy? They
okay,
did?
Jason Copsey and Guitar Extraordinaire just walked by and said, "Don't forget Robin Ford did a
Ford.
version of Jealous Guy," and I bet he kills it. I'm
I
going to
bet he
listen to that.
does.
More guitar driven.
No.
Yeah, I got to go with Donny Hathaway, but I'm going to listen for Robin Ford. Thank
More
you,
guitar
Jason.
driven?
Yeah.
Sign me up. Let's go.
So sometimes guitar companies, when they make a guitar in the same fashion as they made it in the year that they're making it, there are what I would like to call some glorious inefficiencies
Yeah. Authenticity.
and authenticities
Yes.
that make the playing experience of that instrument akin to what it would have been like had it rolled off the shelf at that time. And so because of that, sometimes you got to fight those a little bit
You got all
because
the
they don't
pros.
play like the modern conveniences. They didn't have microwave ovens.
They didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't. No.
So
They got the pros. They got the cons. They got the stuff that all the greats had to fight through too to get those tones that we hear. So
yeah,
it's part of it. But yeah, Heritage, man, they just make an incredibly well built killer guitars. The top on this thing, I don't know if that's showing through on camera. It kind of is. Holy cow!
oh yeah.
Holy cow!
I did a quick little Instagram video with this one right here. It actually looked satin because of the way the light was hitting
Kind of
it.
does, hasn't it? Yeah.
But you can see the gloss here. It's a gorgeous guitar.
I almost feel like that's the one I should be playing, and you should be playing this. But here we are, backwards.
It's
I
all
like
right.
it.
Do that one you were doing the other day when I was down here listening to you. Oh, it's in C sharp though.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Mike plays this so good.
Well, sometimes I have my moments. I felt sheltered right there.
I did. I felt. Yeah. Bada bing, bada boom. I felt good. Well, I don't know. Let's see. Woo! We got a dadgum from old Thomas, and we got Andy saying a woo. It's always nice to get a good
good woo.
dadgum
Yeah.
and a woo.
My wife is really good about identifying. She's got a good woo. I can always hear on video.
What's it sound like?
She goes, ow! She's more of an ow. She says,
Oh.
ow!
Yeah.
And like she stubbed her toe, but more enthusiastic.
On the Eric Clapton Unplugged album, which is that's one of the albums that Mike and I really connected
Oh,
on.
yeah.
We knew we were going to be best friends at that point. There's a guy that like, you know, when he starts into Layla, he goes, Lay. There's a guy that goes, woo! It's like, I've always thought about him. He's that guy, like he's at like Applebee's and he's like, hey, I don't know if you ever listened to Layla Unplugged. He's probably watching this right now.
I'm
He's
on
like,
the
"Hey,
record,
that's
though.
me. That's
That's
me
me
right
on the
there."
record.
Yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, I
Yeah.
would claim it. Yeah, absolutely.
There's the one on the Elvis Costello's live at the El Mocabo too. It's just there's a guy, woo, and it's the most distinct woo ever, and it's every song, which is a great record. But then when the song's over, you're like, here comes that woo guy again, and it's almost like you quit looking forward to the next song. But then the next song plays and it's cool. But
I'll give you one more. Stevie Ray Vaughan live at El Mocambo. There's
Yeah?
a guy that stands up who's just like he's like so animated and so like into everything. You know, like it's like every time the video would come to that spot, like I'd be waiting. And I think it's right on Texas Flood too. And he's just like there's no bigger fan than that guy.
it may be the same dude.
It could
They're
be.
both at the same club. It very well could be
It
the same guy.
Exactly.
I don't
It's
know.
like,
I don't know.
what's your dream?
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna go see Elvis Costello and Stevie Ray Vaughan. Obviously, overlapping demographic right there. Yeah. Didn't they start building guitars out of that stage?
Yeah, they built some
Yeah.
guitars out of the stage from El Mocambo.
Didn't they make like a Telly?
I think
Fender have their hands on some of that?
I think
or-
they
Yeah.
tore open, or they were doing some kind of remodel and they got a hold of the wood. Max Walling says a Grammy award-winning woo.
Grammy award.
We all got a dream, Max.
He has one.
Yep,
Max definitely
he
does.
does
I've
have
heard
one.
it. He's like woo. But
For dang sure.
I'd give him an award.
Well, I tell you what, friends, I'm looking at the time here, and me and this handsome devil, we got to get back to work here.
I mean,
We'll play you out real quick. One more time, give it up for Tyson Bryan
Hey.
jumping in last minute.
Yeah, brother,
He's
yeah.
standing off camera there, looking good. That's so good.
Yeah.
All right. How about a little? You know, about old Key C.